Christ calls us as his disciples to love one another. In the 15th chapter of the Gospel of St. John, he says to us, "This is my command, that you love one another." Love is a special command. It is special because it is the foundation of all the commandments of God. Every one of the commandments is founded on love. St. Gregory the Great says to us, it is like a great tree. The branches are like the various virtues and commands of God, but they all rooted in one thing: love. Love of God and love of neighbour. But there is a natural affection that all people feel. Pagans, Christians, heretics. We are all capable of a natural affection for those who are close to us, our friends, our family members. And this natural affection is good, it is blessed. But there is a higher love which Christ calls us to, beyond what is natural. Christ calls us to love out of obedience to God. To be obedient to God, and for our motive to love, to be obedience and love of God himself. The highest form of this love is to love our enemies. Christ calls us not just to love our friends and those who do good to us, but those who harm us and persecute us. Christ says, love your enemies. There are some who will harm us, who will take away our possessions. They will destroy our name, even take away our freedom. But the Fathers teach us that those who would rob us of these external things, we must try to love them so that we don't lose what's internal. For what is internal is the peace and love of God. It is there that our salvation lies. And we must demonstrate that our love is not in the material and physical things of the world, but it is truly of God. It is a spiritual love. But in times when we are not being persecuted as a church, how can we demonstrate this love? St. Gregory Palamas says, those of us who are not able to heal those who are sick may actually bring healing with a word of encouragement, with comfort, with care. St. Gregory Palamas says to us, every one of us must demonstrate our love through the way we treat those close to us. Even when the church is free, we may demonstrate this love in power. And St. Gregory says to us, when we love, especially those who persecute us, who harm us, who hate us, then our lives become filled with the love of God. Our lives become filled with God's grace. And above all, we must pray. Pray for our neighbours, our friends, our family, and especially pray for our enemies. When we pray for our enemies, we enter into God's love more profoundly. We give our hearts and our will to God. We show a willingness to be obedient to his call. And our lives will truly be filled with his presence, with his love, and with his grace.